Oh, hi. Didn't see you come in. Well, today we're oh we're making a pen out of pallet wood.
The first thing we need for this pen is a piece of wood. I don't know what color this is, so I'm cutting off a tiny little piece so I can take a look at it. It's pretty nice yellow. So I'm going to go for the whole plank, which is, that's kind of nice. Nice little yellow. Wouldn't you agree? That's a keeper. As a contrast, I want to go for another plank that's a bit of a red. So I believe that this plank is going to be exactly what I want, so I also cut a piece off. Yep, nice little red, just like I was hoping for. This one's a keeper too. So in order to make a pen blank, you need about 3/4 of an inch on both sides, and about 5 inches in total. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to glue these little cylinders inside the blank. Cylinders are about 2 inches. So for the wood, there's two options. You can plane them, or you can sand them. But essentially, what you absolutely need to have are two planks that are in full contact of each other. Because otherwise, if you have spaces on the side, that's just not going to glue up right. You're going to have gaps. Gaps when you turn is a bad thing. So I put an impressive amount of glue on it, put some pressure, and off it goes to dry. I do a first pass cut so I get a relatively flat surface. My goal is to make a pen blank, and the boards are not exactly the same width. So this first cut is actually going to give me a relatively flat surface. Once I have a flat surface, I adjust my fence so I'm exactly the width of a pen blank. This isn't rocket science. It seems to be accurate enough. Let's bolt it down. If you love my homemade fence, why don't you hit that like button and subscribe. After making sure that my blank can fly through there without a problem, it's time for, you guessed it, actually making my pen blank out of the pallet wood. Ooh, did you see that? That was a little bit fast. Here, let me show you. That is a nice contrast of colors. So now I'm going to run it through the bandsaw on the second axis so I can have a relatively square piece. Square from the perspective of the end, obviously. So once my blank is completed, now I need to cut it down to length, 5 inches. Of course, since I have my blank, now I need to split it in two, as such. Because what I need to do at this point is get those cylinders inside, which means I need to drill a hole dead center of those rectangular squarish blocks. For this, I have this tool that allows me to put something that is square, dead center. So that's good. And on the other end, all I need is a drill bit. If you buy a pen kit, make sure you get a drill bit that goes with the pen kit. I usually get pen kits for 7 millimeters. So I use the same drill bit at 7 millimeters. This part's relatively straightforward. I basically plunge my drill bit inside the dead center of my square. This is essentially effortless. There is no complicated jigs to set up, nothing special to do. I just plunge the drill bit. This is why I love this tool, as opposed to using a drill press. simply insert and remove. In my case, I need to do it in 2 passes because of the length of my drill bit. In retrospective, now I'm kind of questioning why that is, because there seems that that drill bit is designed for a slightly shorter block, but that revelation will become a bit more clear later on in the video. Obviously, I repeat a second time because we need holes in both blocks. So with the second block now drilled, it's a non-issue. Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm all the way through here. Not rocket science. Again, it does seem like that bit is a tad on the short side. But let's see how this plays out, and we may both understand at the same time. I insert my pen mandrel, ready for the next step, but before I can do that, I need to get these tubes inside those pieces of wood, and they need to be glued. Now, a funny story, I usually use another type of glue for this, so I must have put the camera on pause for about half an hour until I could find this bottles, just so I could continue the video, but such is life. So the best trick that I find is to actually turn a piece of wood and insert that cylinder in there. Now, as you can observe, that cylinder is all the way to one side, but you cannot see from the other side. Usually that's how I do my pens, and I've not had an issue. However, let's see what happens next. So here I'm inspecting to make sure that the part with the metal that is right on the edge is on the outsides. That's very important when you assemble the pen. So with everything mounted on the mandrel, I'm going to start turning now. At this point, I'm basically using a roughing gouge to begin to turn my blanks. They are square, they need to be rounded, and that's exactly what the roughing gouge is for. I'm going through this very quickly because there's much better late videos than me on YouTube. Once they're round and I'm satisfied with them, I use another tool to make them nice and smooth. However, this is where we start to have a problem. I have a split in the wood. It's very unfortunate. So I won't spoil the surprise. Let's see how we can, maybe try to salvage this. So I use some CA glue to generously try to, bond this thing back together. As it turns out, when I slightly removed it from the mandrel, the wood began to close, which is a good thing. So we have the glue. Can we have some activator, please? Thank you very much. Okay, that should do the trick. Now we're back on the mandrel, and I'm sanding it. So at this point, everything should be fine. The wood has plenty of glue, but unfortunately, it's not. So the smoke is not really smoke. That's basically a little bit of sawdust just being evacuated. Everything seems to be going completely normal. However, our split is back. But notice that metal ring. It's actually pushed inside the wood. Now it seems that because I'm using my tailstock to apply pressure to my mandrel, what this has done is that it's applied too much pressure to wood that is too small. And in so doing, has basically split the wood. So I'm a good sport, so I figure at this point, it's ruined anyways. I've opened up the kit. I don't have any spare parts. So let's just wrap it up and see what it's going to look like. It is cracked. So here I'm assembling the head of the pen, the pointy tip. And now I'm inserting the twist mechanism that's actually going to push the ink tip in or out as you twist the pen. So the mistake that I think that I did here is that I made those blocks slightly too long. As you can see here, I'm inserting the mechanism and I'm putting the ink tip. Now, it works perfectly fine, but I can't see it really stick out on the other tip. So essentially, I need to push it further in. Now, it dawns on me at this point that if I had make those blanks a little bit shorter, then I might have ended up with a slightly shorter pen. But it would have at least had the benefit of those cylinders inside protecting the wood throughout. And now I'm basically assembling the top part of the pen with the clip and all. So just making sure that everything's completely dead center. I'm going to use the pen press to push it all the way in. Now it may surprise some of you, this is actually not my first pen. It's about number 15. The pallet wood is incredibly dry. So either I should have used some resin to really solidify it, or if I had made that blank, those two blanks, a little bit shorter, it would have been best. Well, this is it. It's not perfect, but it was a nice experiment. Maybe I'll try it again sometimes. Bye.